Many Shades of Pink and Black Health. Many Shades of Pink and Black Health, where good health equals long life.
Welcome to the Many Shades of Pink and Black Health radio program on KBLKradio.com, sponsored by the Many Shades of Pink. I'm your host, Dr. Susanna Flalo, and today our special guest is Ms. Nancy Jackson, a nurse practitioner. Our topic today is overcoming a life of struggles to become successful. So first of all, I just want to say thank you, Nancy, for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and join me today on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And so let's just dive into it. I'm trying to remember, I think the first time we met was about 2 years ago, December 2015, at the San Diego Black Nurses Association prayer breakfast.
Yes, correct.
Okay, and that's when I got a chance to get to know you and your story.
Yes.
So since I know a little bit about you, let's get the audience familiar with who you are. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, and where you're from.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised in San Diego. I have two older sisters. I'm the baby of 3. And, let's see, raised in Lemon Grove, La Mesa area.
Okay.
Elementary-wise, from kindergarten, I'd say, through the 7th grade. All 3 of us attended St. Rita's.
Okay.
And I was telling actually Tayari earlier that I was the only girl in kindergarten who had a uniform. And I can remember a young lady told me, she thinks she's bad 'cause she wear a uniform. But the fact is that my 2 sisters had the uniforms prior to me.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, I was the one in kindergarten who had the uniform. But every time I drive past there, my daughters are tired of the story. There's my kindergarten class. But went to St. Rita's. My mother worked very hard to put us through to that school, to have us founded on faith,
Mm-hmm.
and have us founded on education.
Mm-hmm.
Although she didn't say it, but as an adult and experiencing life, I know now why she did it.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
And not necessarily, I'm not sure if you were raised Catholic or you just went to the Catholic school.
Well, I was raised Catholic.
Okay.
Very hard to understand why everyone around me didn't look like me. But again, growing up through life, I found out my mother's from Louisiana. A high percentage of African Americans in Louisiana are Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, she comes from that. Therefore, she shared it with us.
Right.
Excuse me. So I made my first communion. My sisters did their first communion. Did catechism every Sunday. They did. I didn't have to go to catechism every Sunday because I started in kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, when at first grade we did first communion,
Mm-hmm.
and then I believe in 8th grade everyone made their confirmation.
Exactly.
So I didn't. It was up. I think 7th grade is when I left because I did not do my confirmation.
Okay.
But I knew that by kindergarten, 1st grade, that I was not Catholic. I just couldn't comprehend.
Right.
What is he telling me?
Right. Right.
You know, and I love the songs. Boy, I could sing it seemed like every song, at least it was always hand motion. That's as close as dancing I'm going to get in there. But it founded faith.
Right. Right.
You know, and I had that foundation made for me, and it carries on. So now I'm Christian.
Right.
You know, and I converted. So.
And the thing about it is, because I was raised Catholic,
Mm-hmm.
I went to Catholic school my entire life,
Mhm.
even through high school, and stepped away and college too, undergrad,
Okay.
Catholic University.
Mm-hmm.
The only break was I went to George Washington University for medical school instead of Georgetown, because that would have been a Catholic medical school.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, nonetheless, I understand. They are definitely structured and disciplined. The classes are smaller. They truly focus on education and discipline in the class. So you're not going to get any cut-ups like you would in public school. So certainly that. So I take my hat off to your mom for at least giving you that opportunity to have a basic foundation on that. So good. So you're from here. Your roots are here. So then tell us a little bit about when you decided to, you transitioned from St. Rita's Catholic school.
Mhm.
Where did you go to high school?
I went to high school at Mount McGill.
Okay.
Mount McGill. I was supposed to be at Mount McGill High School class of 1990, but I went to, let's say, summer school when everybody else went, just to be a part of the group, and when I didn't have to. So I thank God now that that put me 6 months ahead of everyone else.
Okay.
And I also had, I also played a part with the MAC project, which I told you about. MAC project where I did summer youth programs, and that
Okay.
too gave me credits. Not knowing that these things my mother was setting us up for, she probably pushed me to do summer school too. But it put me a whole 6 months ahead
Okay.
to graduate.
To
before anyone
graduate
else at the
early.
time.
Okay.
Yes.
So I know that there were some transitions and some decisions that you made coming up. And so somewhere in your life around junior year, your
Mhm.
life took a little turn. Tell us a little bit about
Yes.
that.
My junior year, I made the decision to leave home.
Okay.
My older two sisters, they had already left, and I made a decision to leave.
Mhm. Okay. And with that, of course, the life changed a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah. Made some of your road a little more difficult.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Did
yeah.
it? But although the road was difficult, that ambition and that
Determination.
determination to be something, somebody,
Yes.
was still there.
Yeah. And he probably even stronger.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And it was like, if I were to leave home today and I was at home, I'd be petrified.
Mhm.
I would just stay.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then it was like I was nearly almost invincible.
Mhm. Mhm.
I left and I went pretty much from home to home. Whoever opened their doors, be my aunt, my friend who actually lived 2 houses down. Mother said, "You need to come here, Cherie."
Okay.
And then it was everyone called me Cherie.
Mhm.
And there was a time where my dad stepped in and said, "Can my daughter stay with you?" My mother and father were not together,
Mhm.
and the woman stated that she's going out of town. Said yes, but she's going out of town, and I cannot stay in her home while she's away, which I could totally understand as an adult. You cannot stay in my home.
So is this the woman, the husband of, I mean, the wife of your dad? Which
Mm-mm,
woman are you
just
talking about? A girlfriend? Oh.
Just a friend.
Just a friend.
Like,
Oh, he asked a friend of
friend
his
if
you could stay at
in
her home. Got it.
and with
Okay.
that being, I stayed there, but I was asked to leave.
Mhm.
And at that point, I could not return. She didn't allow me. So at that point, I was pretty much out on the street.
So you were homeless.
Pretty much.
How long do you think you were homeless for before you know, I know you transitioned to another program, but
Again, I was homeless, but yet found places
mhm.
of shelter, for that
Mhm.
matter. Not a local shelter, but a friend may let me stay there, or even finding shelter in places that maybe I shouldn't even have been.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I was kept safe.
Yeah. Well,
I
God
was
had you
kept-
covered.
Thank
you
you.
knew
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was kept safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he obviously had a plan for me.
Yeah.
What are you going to take from this?
Yeah.
And from that, being out there at that time, I conceived a child.
Okay.
I conceived a child.
And where were you in your high school years at that time?
And it was the summer right before my senior year.
Okay.
For my senior year. And prior to that, you know, my odds of succeeding were aligned to one day getting my cosmetology license,
Mhm.
you know, and opening my own shop. Doing hair was like a nick to me, even to today. One of my patients today said, "I just love your hair." She won't talk about my hair. Lou, do you know, I just go to Supercuts and I do my own thing too.
Right.
You know, I just know hair.
Right.
You know,
And that started from early.
Oh,
So tell
yes.
us when that started,
Oh,
because
yes.
you were telling me that,
It
you know.
started in home, you know, it was doing my sister's hair,
Mhm.
doing my mom's hair, everybody in the family. Cherie, will you, and then we braid my hair, and then next thing you know, I became, you know, Salt and Pepper was out with the finger waves and had the Jerry curls. It just all came natural.
You
to
had
me.
it all.
I had it all.
Jerry curls and everything.
I charged $10, $20, and I was known as Cherie, the one with money, but just Cherie who knew how to do things.
Right. You were already an entrepreneur at an early
Exactly.
age.
And it's not even money. I just enjoyed doing it.
Right,
I
right.
enjoyed doing it, and it was fun.
So this was like, what, 14, 15?
Yeah, junior high.
Junior high?
Junior high,
And then you
sorry.
did it through high school also, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, but even as an adult, I was doing hair, and it's just something. But and even for at that time in high, prior to my senior year, we had ROP, Regional Occupational Program in San
Mhm.
Diego. They probably have it under a different name now, but
Mhm.
I certainly hope that program still exists.
So tell us a little bit about that program. What is that
Yeah.
ROP?
ROP is a regional occupational program where the education is free. It's much like ECC or what may have, but they offer skills for cosmetology school. I got a scholarship to go.
So where was this in your educational? Was that after high school or during high school?
I
Or
applied for it the summer before my senior year. So
Okay.
therefore, once I finished my senior year, I walked right into ROP.
okay,
So I remember filling out the paperwork and letting them know my plan.
yes,
And so they said we will support you. And being,
Okay.
I'm assuming that being the way that it's structured, that because my mom was a single mom, a single parent and all, that kind of
that allowed you to be more eligible for the
exactly.
program. So that almost sounds to me like a technical school that you can go to right after. So instead of going for like your AA at a city college, you could go to a technical school and learn wood shop mechanics,
Get a
cosmetology,
skill.
something that you could actually get out and start making a way for yourself.
Exactly.
Okay.
And knowing me, had I done that, I would have went to school to achieve my business degree and then open the shop and but that was my first thought.
Okay.
That's because I was good at it and I enjoyed it.
Right, and that made you your first few dollars too.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So you mentioned that you conceived in the summer before your senior year in high school, and so you went to high school. Were you still going to Mount McGill, but they put you in a different program while you were pregnant?
I didn't go to Mount McGill. I guess the day after I found out that I had conceived a child. And as naive as I may seem, sitting here saying this, is that I had no idea that I was. It took my neighbor that I previously mentioned that lived 2 doors down. I
Yes.
just happened to be over, and her mom said, "Sheree, I think you're pregnant." I'm like, "How did that happen?"
Did you not miss your period? You didn't even
But
pay attention
I was
to it.
just naive. It was a, how could I say this? At conception, I had changed my mind. I had changed my mind. Not knowing at that time, I wasn't, I just science.
Right.
I didn't
the whole
know.
biology of it
I didn't
all.
even know how it occurred for
Right.
that matter. I just knew I didn't want to be in a situation, this needs to stop. But by that time, it was too late.
Too late. Okay.
Too late. And so with that being, she said, I thought we had the conversation, but the end of the conversation is she suggested that I go to the Door of Hope, and they're sponsored by the Salvation Army. It's a pregnant teen program,
Okay.
and so I went there, and I signed the paperwork. You're either a word of the court there, or you can come there voluntarily and asking them for their help.
Okay.
I came asking for their help.
So was that actually? So instead of starting your senior, you finished your junior year at Mount McGill,
Exactly.
and you were away from home though during that year. Okay, so you're going from pillar to post kind of during your
Exactly.
junior year. But once you conceived, then you weren't going to go back to Mount McGill, and then that's when you found yourself going to Door of Hope.
Door of Hope.
Okay, and that's where you finished out that senior year. Okay.
Well, they you live there. It's a live-in facility.
Okay.
They feed you, they educate you. Down from Lamaze class to child development classes to self-development, in which that's where I met Tambuzi and Diane Moss, through their organization, which was Children Having Children
Okay.
at the time.
At the time.
And they'll tell you I just sat there quietly and I listened. Although I was quiet, they thought I was angry at the world, but I was just listening and afraid for that matter. Not knowing.
Not knowing what
not
to
knowing,
expect.
Not knowing
exactly.
to expect. Where am I going from here?
Right.
Where am I
Right.
going from here? But little did they know that their words helped me.
Yes. And we'll certainly get into that in a minute. So
Oh,
I do know that, well, we're going to take a break in just a
Yes,
second, so I want to make sure I don't start a new subject right now.
Understand.
But I want to pick up there when we get back, because I think it's important for the audience to know a little bit about this Door of Hope and this opportunity
yes. It's
for
still
young
there.
women that may find themselves that, they've conceived and they need some support and they may not be getting it from home. So, well, I think what we'll do is we're listening to the Many Shades of Pink and Black Health Radio on kblkradio.com, and so we're going to take a little break right now, and then we'll pick up where we left off. Okay.
I'm tired of seeing Black and brown women dying. They tend to have breast cancer that's more aggressive. They are at a 41% higher risk of mortality because we're identifying breast cancer at a later stage. Komen is here for women of color.
We are providing free mammograms.
It's important that the women of color get their mammograms, get treated, and save their lives. We are more than pink.
Welcome back to the Many Shades of Pink and Black Health radio program on KBLKradio.com, sponsored by Many Shades of Pink. I'm your host, Dr. Susanna Flalo. Our special guest today is Nancy Jackson, nurse practitioner. And of course, our topic today is overcoming a life of struggles to become successful. So Nancy, now that we're back, I actually want to pick up where we left off.
Okay.
I want people to understand that there are programs out there for young teen moms that may not have family support. And this Door of Hope, I'm not sure if it's still there under this Salvation Army program, but it sounds wonderful. And your mom had to sign to get you in for that?
Yes, she did.
Okay.
Yes, she did. When I conceived, I was 17 years of age.
Okay.
So they said that they had one place, which was meant for
Wow.
me, one
Wow.
place, and that in order for me to be in the program, my mom would have to sign.
Do you know offhand the ages that they take women in to the program? What's
Yes, at that time it was 12
that? Wow.
to 23.
Wow. Okay. So young girls from 12.
Yes, and they were there.
And they were there.
Yes.
Okay. 12 to 23. And then how long do they allow you to stay there?
After you deliver, you have 14 days after delivery.
So while you're pregnant, you need to figure out a backup plan because once you
Yes.
deliver, you've got 2 weeks to find a new
Exactly.
home.
Yes.
So they'll take you so you need to be pregnant to get in the program. So
Yes.
technically they keep you there about 9-10 months the most.
Exactly.
Okay. And that gives people an opportunity, obviously turnover to allow other young women to come in and have shelter,
Yes.
be educated, and have some mentoring.
Yes.
So, I mean, it sounds like a good program. Do you have any idea how long it's been in existence?
Oh, wow.
Like
I don't.
few decades probably at least,
I
huh?
don't.
Okay. All right.
But I know it's still there and it's still standing. They even built like different, before it was just like, not bungalows, but it was just a gunshot, like dormitories.
Yeah, like one big dorm.
And there's, between each room, there were 2 rooms and a bathroom. center.
Like a Jack and Jill setup.
Yes.
Okay.
And even today, I still run into those who I lived with, and
Wow.
we share our stories, and we
Wow.
cry. And beautiful place.
Yeah.
Beautiful
So it
place.
almost sounds like there was also a sisterhood there because
Oh,
you're
yes.
going through the same things, the same struggles, and they are away from their families too, and that particular family love. But you find a new set of family members and the love from that
In the
unit.
same boat.
Yeah.
In the same.
So the counselors and the people that ran the program, you were intimately involved with them for 9 months. They were like your mentors and your teachers and things like that.
And then I can recall that each individual in the program had a counselor.
Okay.
And I know my particular one, I forget her last name, Lori.
Okay.
Very, very touching. And she was my counselor, but she's at San Diego State doing her psychology
Okay.
courses, and she helped me in a lot of places as well.
So she may have even been doing her internship there.
Exactly.
Exactly, to get the
Mhm.
experience that she needed.
Mhm.
I mean, that sounds like an awesome program. I didn't even know anything about it.
Mhm.
So once you transition from there, now you mentioned earlier that you had enough credits to graduate early because now you're in your senior year
Yes.
at the Door of Hope program. So you finished high school
Finished high
and
school.
got your diploma.
Got my diploma. They actually took us to school. They
Okay.
had their van, and the school that had a pregnant teen program amongst it was Mark Twain Junior Senior High School.
Okay.
And so all of us were all in the same class in terms of grade wise.
Right.
And it was it's like an alternative program. for
Okay.
us. And just did one class at a time, completed them. And being that I was 6 months ahead, I finished 6 months ahead
Okay.
and graduated with my diploma.
Okay.
And through that time, my mom and I didn't have contact. So I was there, not so much as not contacting her, but
Mhm.
feeling bad for the position that I'm
Okay. So you felt a little guilty?
in. Thank you.
Were
that's
you
the
a
word.
little ashamed?
Exactly.
And you
of
didn't want to
both.
face her? Okay.
But I got my diploma, and I can recall that I.
Okay. You're good. You're good. Take the time you need. This is emotional. This is touching.
I had to her car to tell her that I'm getting my diploma, and I was want her to come to my graduation.
Yes. You were proud of it. You were
Exactly.
embarrassed before, but once you accomplished that, you wanted her to see that you
Exactly.
did make it despite the fact.
Exactly.
Yeah. Did she make it?
Oh, thank
Did
you.
she make it?
She sure did.
Okay.
She sure did.
And she was proud of you.
Very.
Yeah.
But prior to the graduation actual date to walk across the stage, she asked me to come to the house.
Okay.
And we could leave the grounds of the door, but you just need to be back by
A certain
and let
time.
them know that you're going in where you're going.
Exactly. So they're not worried about you being lost on the
Exactly.
street.
And liability, now that I'm grown and I can understand
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Why they want to know where I'm going?
Now that I
Yeah.
can understand it. But I went home, and through that 7 months that we did not talk, she had a whole, I swear, it's like a 16 by 16 box full of baby clothes. And so, in a sense, she was letting me grow up and learn something.
Yes. What was going to prepare for you once you finished
And
and completed that.
and once I delivered, our relationship
Got strong again. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. That's a wonderful ending to that piece of that chapter in your life, you know, that you stepped away, you made some decisions that made your life a little harder for those couple of years, but you grew so much from it, got strength, that inner strength,
Yes.
and that determination, but then you also were welcomed back home by your mom.
Exactly.
You didn't have to be embarrassed anymore. She welcomed you back and was ready for you and the baby with clothes and everything, and was there to celebrate at your graduation, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she wasn't as angry as you probably thought she was.
No.
Yeah,
She knew it was probably hard for her to do.
sure, to not reach out,
Oh,
but
right.
because you made the decision, you needed to, you made that bed, you needed to lie in it, and that was gonna take you from a child to adulthood. Yeah,
So that could be best for
yeah.
that little lady.
Yeah, and she knew that you were in a safe enough place that no harm was going to
Exactly.
come to you. I'm sure she was more worried when you were on the street, or she didn't know where you were. I'm sure she prayed, like you said, she was raised a Catholic. She was praying. She was saying her rosary. She was doing her novenas. She was doing everything to make sure that you were covered, that there was a hedge of protection around you while you were out there. And then I'm sure that's the reason why she went over there and signed the documents for you to get in there, because then now she didn't have to worry as much. You had a roof over your head that was consistent for those 9 months, and she prepared for you so that once you leave, she knew that you were going to have to leave after 2 weeks of delivering, that she, hopefully there was a home there and at least clothes for your baby, which is awesome, and all the supplies that were necessary. Because you certainly didn't have any money for all that, did you?
No, but being that I'm this lady's daughter,
Yes.
I came up with a plan.
Yes. And what was your plan?
And even before I told her I had a plan, Mama, I'm pregnant. This is my plan.
Great.
Look
Right.
what you did.
Yeah.
Look at my plan, and I say, look what you did, my mom.
Yeah.
And so that being, remember I graduated 6 months
Early.
ahead.
Mhm.
So at that time we had Newberries.
Oh yeah, I remember
gold,
Newberries. Yes,
remember
I do.
gold by the inch?
Yes.
So I actually did that while I was at the door of Hope.
Okay.
And
okay.
I was layaway queen number one. I laid away a whole apartment
Full of
full
things.
of furniture and everything. Sometimes I feel like I was living better at 18 than I am now.
Might
But
have
because
been.
of planning, for
Exactly,
that matter.
exactly.
And with that being, I went looking for apartments, and I got my very first apartment. It's not like this now, but it was only $498
Oh, yeah.
a month.
Oh yeah.
And I was on AFDC.
Okay. So you got some support,
So
but
I
you
got
were
the
working.
plan. Exactly.
Mhm.
So out of the hospital, 14 days later, took my stuff off layaway, delivered. I'm here. I got the key.
Fabulous.
1 bedroom, and Miss Lori, my counselor, helped me pick out Leia get a crib not online, but a used crib, and we painted it, made do again, and my mom helped fix it up too.
Okay.
So with that being, after that, finished there, I can recall a young lady that there's the Door of Hope at the top of the hill, I'll call it. They have those who are pregnant. Then at the bottom of the hill, they had an area with those who are word of accord who had children or are pregnant. And when I was at the Door of Hope, I did Newberries and worked with them as well. So
Okay.
I was getting my hours for a certified caregiver, which they recommended for me.
Okay.
And one of their helpers there was employed for Salvation said, Nancy, you should be a dental assistant. My mom's a dental assistant. You make a good one. Conversation to go any further, but the idea stayed.
Interesting.
So once I left there, there's an ABC
Yeah.
American Business College was on El Cajon Boulevard. Got on the bus, went in and asked about it. And I went to school to become a registered dental assistant, and that was even before I even walked. And so, with that being, my mom again stepped in,
Right.
and I would stay at home with Maxine, and through the program, she'd get off work and she'd take my daughter. And
Your mom would pick up her granddaughter, and then you
keep her
go
while
and
I go to school.
okay. Okay.
And that's how I became a registered dental assistant.
Okay. And that's because that young lady planted that seed in your head,
Uh-huh.
because you had no idea about dental anything, right?
No, and enjoyed it.
Yeah, exactly.
And enjoyed it and became a master at it.
Right.
And so my mom played a part in that too. And just to go backwards, and my little lady, she's 27 now, I named her after my mom.
Ah.
So we've got 2 Maxines in the family, but my mom calls her Little Max.
Little Max.
Boy. It fits.
Is she anything like your mother?
No, she's
Okay.
a lot like me. She
Okay.
told me the other day, I hear myself sounding like you every day now. I'm like,
Is
no,
that
no,
such a
I
bad
do."
thing?
She said it's a good thing. She says, "Look, she has children now of her own, so she's hearing me.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
Interesting. Well, she's not. I mean, you had to really grow up fast as a
Mm.
teen mom.
Mhm.
I mean, her children, she had them maybe a little bit older.
Mhm.
No, she had them as a teen also.
Not so much as a teen, but in her second year of college,
Okay.
I had the phone call, and you know, apparently I missed the phone call. I know she was just like, phew.
I don't have to tell her
And
right
so,
now.
Exactly. So I got the voicemail.
Okay.
And I know you're gonna be disappointed. I know you're gonna be disappointed. She said, "But you did it, Mommy.
Oh,
You did it."
Yeah.
And my first thought was, "I'm sorry, I made it look so easy."
Yeah, exactly. Because it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It was not
It was
easy.
not easy. But in the sense, you know, it was. I finished the message and I went around this tree on a swing. I think of the episode of Tangled.
Mhm.
When she was running around the tree. It's the best day of my life. Oh, why am I so? And I was going around that tree, and I'm like, what did I do wrong? You know, of course, me, out of all, that's the one thing that I didn't want.
You didn't
to
want her to have to go through.
And then the person that she is, you
Mhm.
would have never saw that coming.
Mhm.
You would have never saw it coming. And I'm not saying this at any type of disappointment.
Mhm.
It was more or less, all right, you are equipped.
Yeah,
Maxine,
yeah.
you are equipped. You will get through this. But I didn't tell you it was going to be easy.
Right. Right.
Please don't. I realize I made it look that way,
Right.
but it's not.
But it was not.
And I'm here. You know, Grandma's here.
In case you need.
Auntie Charmaine's there. You have support.
Right. Which is great.
And we will see it through. She's in her second year of college.
Oh, that's fabulous.
But,
That's fabulous.
mhm.
Well, that was a few more years
Boy,
from
yes.
you, so I
Mhm.
mean, she had an additional 4 years
Oh yeah.
of life experience that
Yes.
she had gotten in her high school, so she
Mhm.
was even a little bit more equipped than
I
you.
was literally a child.
Yeah.
Well, she was a young adult.
Right, and she was already away at school,
Mhm.
right?
True.
So a little bit different. You already start making your own decisions at that point.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that was definitely the case. So, you told us, mentioned about the dental thing. So I understand that you did your internship very close to this radio
Yes.
station.
Extremely. I could throw a rock at it.
So you worked on the tutelage of who?
And Dr. Victor Crawford.
Okay.
Dr. Victor Crawford, a renowned dentist here in this community. When I was at ABC, American Business College, going to school for dental assisting, we had to free up 3 patients to do corneal polishing. The doctor had to clear them of any calculus, which is the hard plaque on your teeth. Not licensed to do that, or do you know I do it at that time? I can knock it out now, but scale them. So I knew this area, and I went down there as a dentist there. I just looked him up and went down there, and I asked him if he could see my patients so I can get my corneal polishing license. This gentleman said yes. Dr. Crawford said yes, and from that came an internship
With him in his office.
with him in his office,
Mhm.
and that was in 1990,
Mhm.
between 1990 and 91.
Mhm.
And I said he offered me a job, and amongst the internship, and I said I don't have a daycare, but I'd like to.
Mhm.
And he said, well, I'll pay for it.
Wow.
I don't even know if he remembers.
What employee says that these
that.
days?
You know.
Yeah. So you had your
Yeah.
young child. You were a
He
single
saw
mom.
something in me. Yes,
Yeah.
single mom. He saw
And-
something in me then.
Yeah. So
And
he
I-
paid for the daycare so you could actually work at his dental office.
Mhm. And so he was down in Euclid Medical Center, where Dr. Hood is actually downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, Dr. Hood was below. He was downstairs.
Downstairs, correct.
At that time, and Dr. Crawford shared, like, kind of like that dormitory setting where he was there and Dr. Moore was here.
Yeah,
So
I know Dr. Moore.
Yes, and actually worked with him as well on
Okay.
Tuesdays at Comprehensive Medical Center on
Okay.
32nd Street years ago. But I was helping Dr. Crawford say, go help him on Tuesdays. So I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's nice. That's
Yeah, I
nice.
can remember that. And so I stayed under his arm for 6 years, and through that 6 years, he kept saying, Nancy, there's so much more
Mm-hmm.
than a dental
He didn't want you to just stop there.
There's
So he
much more
pushed
to
and
it.
encouraged you to do more with that in the dental field.
Exactly.
So then, where'd you go from there?
Just in general.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he wasn't even pushing for me to be a dentist or a dental hygienist, but I loved the patient.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Nancy, I think they should come here and see you.
A social visit. Forget the teeth, right?
And I enjoyed the patient. I
Mhm.
love being that nurturer at the chair. It's going to be okay. Everybody's scared of the dentist,
Of
especially
course.
the African American community. We come when it hurts. And I'm saying this from experience and what I've seen,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and
They do that with all their health, not just their
Yes.
teeth. They come in when they're grabbing their chest from their heart attack. They're coming
Why
in when
is
their
it
arm
hurt?
is weak from the stroke.
Yes.
You know, they're coming in when their feet are blue or black
Yes.
because now they need to have amputation. So
Yes.
they wait for the last minute because they are afraid of the medical profession in general, and dentists and the drilling, and it hurts when you get your shots, and so
Exactly.
they'll wait till that tooth is almost falling out from an abscess or
Yes.
whatever. So
I've even seen the abscess coming out of the face.
oh
and
my
dripping.
god, oh my god, that's
Sad.
horrible. Oh my
Sad.
god, we put ourselves through so much extra pain and struggle for no
You
reason.
didn't get a hint when it was inside.
Yeah, yeah.
But
When
then
when it was hurting you when you were eating.
Exactly. Our bodies talk to us. If we don't listen, it's gonna make us.
Right.
It's gonna make us.
Has a way of putting a stop to us.
Yes,
So
yes.
once you did your dental tour of duty, your career took a little turn.
Yes.
And
I-
what did you?
well,
How did you get there? And
I went to being a dentist, and again, I love the patient.
Mhm.
Love the patient. So I wanted to become a dental hygienist.
Mhm.
And being that I'm noticing all these trends of us coming at the last minute,
Mhm.
I'm noticing the trends that I didn't know that was like that, or I didn't know that was plaque. I didn't know that toothpaste is just an amenity. The whole purpose of toothbrush is to remove the plaque. The minty breath stuff is something that they just added to it.
Mhm.
For that matter, you know, in the fluoride, for that matter.
Mhm.
It's what's in it, not the minty taste. It's removing the plaque. That's whole objective.
Correct. Correct.
Whole objective. And love the patient, connect with the patient. It just comes natural to
Correct.
me.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. And again, I enjoy it. And if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they enjoy me.
Oh,
too.
I think so. You got the personality. You got the
Yeah,
interpersonal kind of, relationship, and it allows people to feel very calm
Mhm.
around you. So yeah, they enjoyed that piece.
So with that being, I want my purpose at that time, I was about 17, 23 years. I got the notion around 17, 18, 19, 20. Well, I say about 1920s when I said I want to become a dental hygienist.
Okay.
Get my master's in public health and teach our community, the black community, about
Dental
oral
care,
health.
oral health.
Oral health
Okay.
and how it affects our whole body.
Correct.
So with that being, I did all the prerequisites here at San Diego Community College District, and I'm graduating from Mesa College with my associates in biology and transfer studies. With that being, I got accepted to Meharry Medical
Okay.
College. My goal when it switched over was to go to a historical black college.
Yes.
And I know that there was I got that notion. I was watching an episode of Oprah one day and had me tearing, crying. You can believe that. Had me crying that she had an episode of high school students all in a room just like this,
Mhm.
and they're all opening their letters to an HBC.
Their acceptance letters. How awesome is that?
I
Yeah.
want to know what that feeling
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I got it.
Good.
I got
Good.
it. And so I was accepted to Meharry Medical College as well as Howard University. So I got to choose on
Yes.
which one.
Yes.
At that time, my firstborn was 13.
Mhm.
And at that time, I had a 6-month-old as well from at that time I was married. I've
Okay.
only been married for 4.5 years, but I've been with the gentleman for 16
Okay.
in total. but married for 4, and decided to accept Meharry.
Mhm.
Go to Meharry, got my big sister, I got my schedule, I had an apartment. It was just us 3. At that time, I had fortunately left that relationship.
Okay. Okay.
Didn't see me getting an education as something that's
Necessary.
that's necessary.
Important.
What it was to him was, as it put to me, selfish.
Mm.
Whereas, but our relationship coach wise, it was more than that.
Of course.
But I didn't let it stop me.
Yes.
I didn't let it stop us. So us 3 ladies got in the car and we drove to Nashville with the help of my cousin.
Okay.
She was brave. That was a long drive. There was so much. Beetle flew in the car. Car was still running. You know what that was. We're from California. But no, we drove all the way to Meharry, and we I was deterred by what do you call it?
Financial aid.
I was misinformed.
So you were promised that you had a financial aid package, and when you got there and settled in, you
They
found out
said-
that the package was not what you thought it was.
Yes, they said I was misinformed and suggested that I get a part-time job.
Mm.
And at that time, that if I would have taken that
That
recommendation, that meant that my 13-year-old would have had to become a mother to a 6-month.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I drove all the way home 3 weeks later.
Wow.
What's
Wow.
in store?
Yeah.
So I applied to nursing school. Figured that maybe I can do the same thing.
Yeah. So you came back to San Diego.
Back to San Diego, cried. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was something that that was 2003. I had been working on that for 10 years, one class at a time, and all this time that was out.
That was your goal.
That was my goal.
But that wasn't a waste of time because
No.
you transitioned to nursing and
Yes.
you needed those exact same classes. All those
Exactly.
prerequisites of biology and chemistry and science were all applicable for your nursing degree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I applied to National University, got in quickly. Within 6 weeks, they informed me that I was
That's
accepted. The classes were at night, twice a week.
Okay.
I was still able to work full time at Children's Hospital at the time.
Okay.
And they have a pediatric dental program there for dentists who are being trained to be pediatric dentists.
Okay.
And they swore I was a dentist, but I'm teaching students on how to place a pediatric crown on I'm like, I was a dentist now.
Yeah.
Just act like that. But they let me, so it was good to be a part of that.
Right. Right.
And still a part of it. It was mostly disabled children
Okay.
or
Okay.
disadvantaged for that matter.
Okay.
And along that route, I've come to find that I've always have to be in a disadvantaged population.
That's where your heart is.
That's where my heart
Serving
is.
the underserved and the
Exactly.
underrepresented.
Exactly.
Okay.
Always. Or the disadvantaged
Mhm.
for that matter.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that's nursing,
Yeah.
my RN.
So once you got your RN, you transitioned obviously from children's dental
To nursing.
work to nursing, and where did that take you in terms of your job? And where did you start working as a nurse?
Nurse, I started at Scripps Hospital
Okay.
in La Jolla. I was taken in on the Border West, to be exact, their trauma unit.
Trauma unit. Tell us what kind of patients you see there.
Neuro, ortho, and oh my goodness,
So-
if it's traumatic, you either break something or hit something, and most likely it's your head. But if somebody was on the news that night, I knew that when I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, that it's a good chance that they might be my patient.
They're going to be in your unit.
Yes.
And so at the trauma unit, you saw a lot of neurological
Yes.
problems. You
And
saw a lot of
ortho.
fractured,
Yes.
fractured pelvis, fractured whatever.
Gunshot wounds
Mhm.
as well, packing them,
Right.
removing JPs, and it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Sounds like exciting work, but obviously stressful work too.
Oh yes, a
'Cause
heavy load.
you had to be on your P's and Q's
Yes.
at all times because this is a matter of life and death for these patients.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that changed when it became a matter of whose life am I going to save? Theirs or mine.
So, yeah, and that's where we're going to transition to that because you were working at Scripps for a period of time,
7 years.
and then your health took a turn.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened at that point? What was going on?
Well, what was presenting was just had numbness in my left hand,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm thinking it was carpal tunnel secondary to dental assisting.
All the repetitive work you were
Yes,
doing with your
exactly.
hands.
I mean, literally, I did that for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
20 years I was dental assisting.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, it finally caught up with me.
Right.
Then that feeling start going up my arm, down my leg, in my face.
All on the left side.
All on the left side. And as a nurse, I know what those are signs of. And one day I had 5 patients on a unit, and it went in my face, and that did not go away.
So the numbness you had been experiencing on your whole left side, but once you were at work and it went to your face and it did not go away, you seeked help.
Oh yeah, immediately.
Yeah.
Straight to the ER.
Okay.
Somebody take over my patients.
Okay.
And I was diagnosed as having a stroke for 4.5 months of my life. My neurologist said, let's rule out MS by lumbar puncture, and it did not rule out.
Right.
It ruled out it did rule out the stroke, and with that, I was diagnosed with
Multiple sclerosis.
Mhm.
Tell the audience a little bit about what that is.
Multiple sclerosis is when, I don't know if anybody knows that axon and that myelin sheath that's in between there that we learn in science, that, well, the white blood cells thinks that this area between those electric things that make our bodies, when you say smile, and that electricity runs across where those white blood cells are thinking that there's something foreign there, so it's eating away at it, and makes that impossible to happen.
So the signals don't
Cross.
cross.
And unfortunately, mine's lie on my brain. Some they have it on their spine, which makes it impossible depending on where, makes it impossible for them to walk.
Exactly.
Some have it here, and you can't move your hand.
So it's a neurological thing that affects
yes.
the neurological function, whether it be the brains or the function of your body.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we will find people presenting with weakness in their legs, and one day they can't get up and walk, or weakness in their arms.
And one day it happens that
quickly.
fast.
Yeah. You're fine 1 minute, and all of a sudden you have a bout of your MS.
Yes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's no cure. There's no cure. But just like anything in life, it's controllable, and it's controlled by one. The heat exacerbates the symptoms. Stay out of heat. My thing is, swap meet 1 hour and that's it, and go early.
Go early.
You have to, your behavior, lifestyle.
Your whole lifestyle has to change and function around your condition, your medical condition now, so that you prevent these exacerbations and bouts that can land you in the hospital.
Exactly. And a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Stress, heat, get enough rest, fatigue, strength, keep my body strong. Those things, and it's even if I laugh hard, and I love to laugh just as quick as I love to cry, or I don't love to cry, but just as quick as I cry.
The emotions are across the board.
It will cause blurred vision. It's like, okay, I'm laughing, or the conversation might be getting too deep, and then I can't find the words. When I put something down, I have to connect. I went through cognitive. It got to the severity of it. I had to have cognitive therapy, where if I have my keys in my hand, I have to put it down, connect with it, then walk away. And to this day, I have to. If I hold a jar, I have to, I'm using my left hand. I use my pinky to hold it, so I don't drop it.
So you don't drop it.
And no one around me would notice those things.
Right.
But
so you have made the adjustments for your medical condition.
Exactly.
And so the average person would not know.
No.
Yeah, because it doesn't present with a rash on your face or something that's very obvious. And we do see people in society that you can tell have had a stroke, and we'll get up to that in a minute. But you'll see they're either dragging their leg, or they're dragging their arm, or their face is drooped. This one, the bouts come and go.
Yeah.
And there may be some underlying stuff that might be minimal enough that the average person cannot see and pick up on.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that you may look healthy, but you still have a significant and serious medical condition.
Oh, yes. Very.
Yeah.
What I tell people is, when I tell them, like, no, you don't. I have an aunt that have one. I said, well, I just do my best, try to make sick look good.
Yeah.
That's all, and it's a matter of not a dress for that matter. It does make you feel better, but it's a matter of my attitude. I smile through it. I work through it. I still pursue my dreams, my goals through it. It's not going to stop me.
You can't let it stop you. You have you have a grown daughter now and a younger daughter, so you still owe her an opportunity to grow up. So you can't let this hold you down. There are some people that their MS progresses so significantly they can actually go blind from it. They can actually end up in a wheelchair and things like that. So the good thing about it is you, over the years, because you've been diagnosed with it, it's now 10 or more years actually, I think. I think you told me it was in 2010, so 7 years ago. Yeah.
I remember the day that I was told clearly.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful. I had a friend by my side, and we were waiting for the phone call, and he went off to work, and the doctor called, and I said, okay, and luckily I knew this doctor
Yeah.
professionally. I took care of his patients at Scripps.
Correct.
And I stated, so do I have MS? He goes, I think so. But he said that just to make me feel better
Right.
about it.
Right.
But this friend who I have, he was there to catch me.
Yeah.
And appreciate it. And
Yeah.
and he said, did he call? And I'm
Mhm.
like, yes. And I bring this in there. But he says, what do you need? How
That's
can
so
I help
fabulous. Yeah. Yeah. How can I make this something that you can deal with? You
Mhm,
know, because you don't get to
exactly.
quit on it.
you? No, you don't.
You know.
And I don't want. And through conditions like this, a lot of the time, the people around us don't understand.
And they're not sensitive to it. They're not
Mm-mm.
empathetic about it.
No.
So you don't get to share that part of you with just anybody because they don't have a
Exactly.
clue.
No,
Yeah.
and even those who were really close to you, they don't understand. I do the MS walk every year,
Mhm.
and my best friend, she and I shared kindergarten in St.
Mhm.
Rita's, and she did the MS walk with me a couple of years ago, and I always felt like she didn't understand. But we're doing an MS walk, and she's like, "Why is there RIP signs near Assure?"
Mm.
And I had to explain it to her, and we had to stop.
So people were walking on behalf of the people they had lost
Yes.
due to MS.
Exactly.
And she didn't understand how severe
Yes.
this condition is because she
Exactly.
sees you up and about and
Yes.
functioning.
Mhm.
But you're at a certain stage of your MS. There's others that it progresses and it
Yes.
takes their life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's about understanding, and that part of it also helps to prevent,
Yes.
to have that
Yes.
understanding around
Yes. That's awesome.
you.
So I know that once you got the news, you were working on the trauma unit at Scripps. You pretty much had to give that up because you
Yes.
could not do that kind of stress
Mm-mm.
with this condition that you have.
Oh, no.
So you had to make a decision at that point. And what was that?
Well, I went to a custody unit, a local custody unit here in San Diego, and it's funny how life goes full circle.
Mhm.
On this custody unit, we had Dr. Hood and Dr. Butcher,
Butcher.
who were the state the doctors who care for the state inmates, and did a great job. Oh my God.
Mhm.
And I happened to see Dr. Hood in terms of, I used to see him down at Euclid Medical Center,
Mhm.
and he looked familiar to me. I saw
Right.
him one time as a patient. That jam gel I'm allergic to. Dr. Crawford says, go down there and see Rodney. I don't know who Rodney is, but now being down there and all.
Right.
Dr. Hood, I saw him as a patient one time, but I said hello to him and saw Dr. Butcher. I'm like, they look so familiar. And they look like me.
Mhm. Exactly. That's
And they
even
look
better.
like me.
Yeah. After working at Scripps for so many years.
Exactly,
Right?
they look like me. Oh my gosh, that was a ray of sunshine.
So and that custody unit is a place at Alvarado Hospital
Well,
or where or anywhere.
Well, they have numbers of them all throughout San Diego.
Okay, and it's really where the nurses go and take care of inmates that they're incarcerated, but they have some kind of a medical condition.
Exactly.
Okay.
The hospitalizations, they do gala everything.
Okay.
They're human.
And once their condition is taken care of, then they're
They
back
go
to
back to
incarceration.
Mhm.
Okay. So you did that for how many years before
Oh,
you
gosh.
transitioned?
5. I
5
did for
years.
5 years.
Yeah.
5 years, and while I was there, well, prior to going there, let's see, when I was diagnosed with MS, and go back, I was first diagnosed with MS, I had just enrolled into my master's program as a nurse.
Right.
When I was and then when they told me I had to stay, that you're not going home, I had first day of class online at University of Phoenix.
Okay.
And I wrote my autobiography, and they're like, Nancy, what are you, because the nurses there know me, and they're like,
Right.
I'm getting the queen treatment.
Right.
What are you doing? I said, I have homework due tonight. And I'm in there diagnosed with a stroke, and I'm writing a paper. And they're like, see, this is why you're here in the first place. So anyway, but with that being a year and a half, 2 years later, I graduated my Master's of Science in Nursing and Healthcare Education.
Okay.
And then, like, I come there with Dr. Hood and Dr. Butcher. I'm looking at them. Inspiration.
Yes.
Inspiration.
Yes. Hard work, dedication.
Mm-hmm.
They've been in the community in their own practice for over 40 years almost, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you were able to join their team, or they mentored you for initially?
No, they just saw me doing my thing there.
Okay.
Dr. Hood would ask, Nancy, you like working here? And I'm like, I like the objective.
So you were volunteering first, though, right?
Working through registration, and I would volunteer my services.
Ah,
for
got
that
it.
time.
Okay.
But then I asked.
Are you talking about? Oh, I see. You're talking about they would see you at the custody unit.
Yes.
You're working over there,
As a nurse.
and then correct.
And
okay.
they saw my skill set in that area.
Yes.
And then I approached Dr. Hood and said, I'm in a nurse practitioner program now, and is it possible in the future that I can maybe do some of my clinical hours in your office? He said, sure.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I ended up doing like 9 months there.
Okay.
And leave it to him to say again, same thing as Dr. Crawford. They just come in here to see you. And when he's there, they're asking, well, am I going to see Nancy?
Yeah, is Nancy here? I don't really want to see you,
Exactly.
Dr. Hood or Dr. Hood. I want to see Nancy. Where's Nancy?
They don't even see me no more. And he stands there very proud of me.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good, as well as Dr. Crawford.
Yeah.
And Dr. Crawford is much like my father
Yeah.
figure, highly. And Dr. is my mentor, my friend.
Well, they both saw potential in you, encouraged you to move forward. They're proud of your accomplishments despite the fact of all of the struggles you had along the way. You overcame all of them.
Yeah.
You're in such a good place now. You're doing nurse practitioner. So with the last minute that we have, just tell us briefly about the program you're actually doing right now in the community for Dr. Hood's office.
Well, in our community, life goes full circle.
Mhm.
My goal was to teach us
Yes. Yes.
about our bodies
Yes.
and how we treat them, what we put in it.
Yes.
And I'm there. And so what I'm doing is being a part of Dr. Hood's Multicultural Health Foundation and Dr. Butcher's foundation as well. Is we have a program where we go into our homes and we provide education as well as the tools, a blood pressure machine, and teach them how to use it, how to read their blood pressure. We teach them about the risks. We teach them about how much activity is needed to sustain it.
Right.
Even activity in terms of how to decrease your weight loss, for that matter.
Correct.
Throw that in there.
Correct.
How it correlates with other conditions they have, and the risks of a continued high blood pressure, what it can cause, and it's about preventing, and it's about them making the choice. We're just here to provide the tools.
And give them the education.
Give
So the
them
program is
education.
basically focused on African American people, a
Mhm.
certain age,
Yes,
right?
I think it's 18 to 80.
Or
80.
18 to 80, and then you do 4 home visits, once a week for 4 weeks.
Yes.
And then after that, you've already given them the tools. You give them the blood pressure machine so they can monitor their blood pressure at home. You can make recommendations for their medication adjustment if you feel like their blood pressure is not well controlled. Oh my goodness, it looks like time is already up. We're gonna have to bring you back again.
Okay.
So let's
Sounds
just
good.
do this. We don't even have time for an announcement, so we'll do that next time.
It's a
So
good
anyway,
conversation.
yes, it has been an awesome education. So you've been listening to the Many Shades of Pink and Black Health radio station on KBLKradio.com, sponsored by Many Shades of Pink. I'm your host, Dr. Susanna Flalo. Our special guest today was Nancy Jackson, nurse practitioner. I thank you for coming here and sharing your story and your journey. Thank you for listening out there, and be sure to tune in on Sunday, every Sunday at 2 o'clock. And for that, we will see you again next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.